Do you remember that Simpsons episode where Homer got to design his own car and he made sort of a mishmash that did everything? Well, this car is a little bit like that. I'm Lars and this is the Kia EV9, and today we are taking it through the full electric exam because this is totally electric. Welcome to Totally Electric, where we talk about electric mobility and we do specific tests of electric vehicles, such as the one we have here. This is called the Electric Exam, and it's our own proprietary format where we test it in 8 different categories, score them, weigh them, and give it a final score between 0 and 100 points. If you want to compare this Kia EV9 with other cars that's gone through the same process, you can do it in the link below on our website. There, you'll also be able to change the weight of each category just to suit your needs. Hey, hello, I'm standing over here. Now, you might not have noticed how big this car really is when I was standing up close to the camera. This car is 5 meters long, 2 meters wide, and 1.78 meters tall, which for Europe is just about the biggest thing you can think about hauling around. It's also heavy, 2.6 tons. That's because it's got 96 kilowatt hours of battery installed, with which it can do 505 kilometers according to the WLTP cycle. It's got 7 seats, it's luxurious, it's got loads of tech. What about the price then? 81,200 euros, which might seem like a lot, specifically if we're talking about a Kia. But you know what? With all the stuff that this car brings to the table, I don't think it's that expensive. In the front, we've got a squarish design, but we have an active grille that will actually open and let air pass through when it needs to cool down the elements on the inside. We've got LED matrix headlights. That means that if you have oncoming traffic and you have your high beams on, it's going to black out areas to avoid blinding oncoming traffic. You have a camera here in the front, which you will need because parking this car is not easy, specifically because you can't see anything from here forward. You have cameras up there, but those are mostly for helping with the ADAS system, so that'll keep you in the lane if you're using automatic cruise control and lane keep assist. You also have a radar down here that'll keep your distance to the car in front of you. You got proximity sensors so you won't bump into things, and in here you got air intakes that help with aerodynamics and increase your range. I like this design. It's daring, it's different. It's a bit of a squarish, brutalish design, but hey, why not try something new when you're Kia and you're launching an 80,000 euro car? For keys you get 2. One is the most complex key in automotive history with 7 different buttons on it. Yes, 7. The other is the simplest one with 0 buttons. This is just a proximity sensor. So if you go swimming, you can put this down your speedos, and when you get close to the car, the handles will pop out and allow you to open the car. Very clever. I've got 21-inch rims, which suits the car really well. They're big, but not too big. You've got these aero things in here to make sure that aerodynamics are better. And actually the air intake we've got here puts out an airflow here that goes across the car so that it puts sort of a curtain of wind around it and it makes it more slippery. So rear space is absolutely amazing. Let me open it for you. I can use this, or I can open it from the inside or push a button, and you'll see that it's got 823 liters, which is a lot. If you can't fit your stuff in here, you got too much stuff. If you want to, you can even pull up the 2 extra seats and you can seat 7 people. By the way, here's another secret. This has got vehicle to load. So if you need to take some energy out of this car and use it as a plug, you can just use this little accessory, put it into it, and you'll get a regular, good old-fashioned plug down there. How about that? By the way, you've got a big spoiler. Windows are tinted, both on the sides and in the back, just to give you a little bit more privacy. You've actually got a glass roof. You've actually got 2 glass roofs and one of them opens. Because why not? This car's got pretty much everything, but now I think it's time to give it a test drive and see how far it can actually go. Let's do a range test of this Kia EV9 GT line. Supposedly it's got 505 kilometers of range according to the WLTP cycle, but what we're doing is a highway test. So we're driving 120 kilometers an hour one way. Once we hit half the battery, turn around, see how far we go. So it's a nice sunny day, but it's only 8 degrees Celsius outside. No wind so far, but who knows, it might pick up later. Let's get going. I've got the car set to normal driving mode. I'm not going in eco, I'm not going in sport, because this is just an attempt to give you a good average showcase of what this car will do. Now let's keep going. I'm going to put on an audiobook and I'll catch you guys later when I'm done with the trip. Put a comment down below. How far do you think I'll go doing 120 kilometers an hour? Remember, 505 kilometers according to the WLTP, but that's not highway speed, that's the WLTP cycle. Even more important than having a large battery and a range to go from here to south of Zimbabwe without stopping for charging is actually information that this system is going to give me, or any GPS system in a car, that's going to give me about how to get to where I'm going, where to stop for charging, which chargers to find, etc. And this system is the first from Kia which incorporates route planning with charging stops and all that. Let's see how it works. I'm now close to Madrid, so let me just click on this. Let's go to Lisbon in Portugal.
Do you want to be guided to this place?
Yes, that is where I want to go. Okay, so it's calculated an online route. It's telling me the battery capacity may be insufficient to reach your destination. What do you mean maybe? It's almost 800 kilometers. Of course it's insufficient. Do you want to find some chargers on the route? And I say yes. So it's calculating again. And the route will be provided including EV charging stations. Excellent. So 777 kilometers and I'll get there tonight. So it's telling me how to get there and where to charge, and it's even chosen only high power chargers, so I don't have to wait for too long, and then it's going to give me the full route, which is great. Fantastic. This is just what I need. I can now travel with this car and being 100% confident that I'll not be stranded somewhere without any battery left. Good. Not perfect though. What it's doing here is it's telling me that I need to charge to 100% on every single charger. Now everybody who has driven extensively an electric car knows that charging above, say for example 80 to 85% is a waste of time when you're doing fast charging, because the charging speed tapers off towards the top end of the battery. So asking me to charge to 100% is just going to prolong the charging stops. Instead of doing 52-minute charging there, I bet I could do it with just a 20-minute charge and then drive on to the next one and get to the next one with, say, 20% instead of 38%. I don't need to charge to 100% every time. Maybe there's a setting to fix this, but this is not perfect. It's good, but not perfect. If you set your destination to a high-power charger, or you have it as an intermediate stop for your next haul, the EV9 will preheat the battery, will condition it to receive the maximum available charge at that charger. This is really important as it will significantly reduce your charging time, and it will just make the whole experience much faster. Oh, look at this guy. It's a rally driver. Now, if you're going somewhere and there's a high-speed charger and it's not your destination, or it's not in the GPS, maybe it's not in the database that they use here, you can manually preheat it as well. So what you do is you go into the menu here and you find the little leaf, and in there you have a button that says activate. Now this will activate the battery preconditioning. As you can see now, it is a suitable temperature for receiving the charging, because I just did this before. So you might think that preheating the battery eats up all your battery life, so you get less range than what you could expect. But honestly, the prediction of how much energy I'd have left once I got to the destination didn't change one bit from preheating to non-preheating. So if it eats up any battery, it's less than 1% in this case. So great. It also only took, I don't know, less than 5 minutes to heat it up. So if that will increase my speed of charging, that's definitely worth it. Okay, we reached our charger here and we've done, as you can see here, 334.7 kilometers. We've done it in 3 hours. I mean, I've been sitting here now talking to the camera in Spanish. So 3 hours, and the efficiency has been 26.5 kilowatts per 100 kilometers. That's pretty good. If we add on top of that the 10% we haven't spent, I've got 9% left of the battery and I'd already spent 1% before getting onto the highway. That means that we can do 371 kilometers on using 100% of the battery. That's not bad for a car this big. The efficiency of 26.5 is also actually not that bad. Yeah, I know it's higher than a Model 3, which is a super efficient car, but this is a big and heavy, people hauler. So 26.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers is quite good. Average speed has been 111 kilometers per hour. That's pretty good for a highway speed as well. Now we're going to have to charge here, and we're charging 200 kilometers. That's the benchmark. 200 kilometers. How long time will that take? In order to charge 200 kilometers, we need to put 53 kilowatt hours into the battery. That's 26.5 times 2. Let's see how long time this takes. We're at a Thunder charging station. Now these are high-powered charging stations, 360 kilowatts. So any limitation will be the cars, not the chargers. Let's get to it. Okay, I've started charging and actually it went so fast I forgot to record it really. I've been using this. This is a Z card, which is one that you get from Thunder. And the trick is to swipe it up here, not down there. This is for credit cards. You can do all sorts of different payments here. Now the car's been preheated. I've just used this and this goes or links to my account. So any discounts I might have with the provider, I still get them even though I use the card. And I can use this, not just at the Thunder station, I can use them at Ionity, Fastnet, and a whole bunch of other stations around the world. So it just makes it a little bit easier. Let's see what speeds we can get up to. 209 kilowatts is supposedly the max speed for this car. So far, 146. Okay, it's really cool to see that it keeps going up. We're at 25% now and we're still charging at 200 kilowatts. The charging curve for the EV9 here at this Thunder station is absolutely incredible. I'm now at almost 40% charge and it's still charging consistently at 200 kilowatts. Wow. So the car manufacturers will often tell you what's the max charge rate for their cars, but that's of little use, and much more important is actually how long time can they maintain that max charge rate for. So it's no use that a car can charge at 300 kilowatts if when it's at 30% it's dropped all the way down to 100 kilowatts. What we want is fast charging and consistent fast charging, and this car can do that. That's because of its 800 volt architecture. It means that it needs less cooling. It's more efficient when charging. And even we're now at more than 50% charge, it's still charging at 200 kilowatts. That over time will significantly reduce the time you're going to have to spend charging this car when doing long road trips. Here we are, we've done it. That's 53 kilowatt hours in 17 minutes and 30 seconds. And we're still charging at 184 kilowatts. This car is a charging monster. Let's check and see what kind of information we've got inside the car while charging. As you probably can see here, not a lot. We get how many kilometers it estimates, the charging speed, well, the time to 80%, which is okay. What we really need will be how long time do I have to sit here and wait until I have enough to go to my next charging stop, which is the one thing that's lacking from this. Crikey. I've been here like almost no time at all. I'm at 73%. Wonderful charging. This is one of the best charging cars I've ever tried. This car sports a 100 kilowatt hour battery and I've charged it to 80% in just 25 minutes. That's pretty darn impressive. I'd like to thank Thunder for collaborating with me on making these videos. When I travel with my electric car, it's really important for me to have reliable, fast charging wherever I go and an easy means of paying for it. And that's what Thunder helps me do. There are more than 100 stations throughout Spain and they're now starting to pop up in the rest of Europe as well. Check them out in the link below. Inside the Kia EV9, I've got loads of space. I mean, as you would in a big car like this. I've got headroom, I've got shoulder room, I've got leg room, got it all in here. So the seats are very, very comfortable and they adjust in 1,000 different ways. I can change the lumbar support, I can change the seating. There's even a knee support here. The headrest can go up, down, forward and back. If you're not comfortable in this car, you just need to adjust it a bit more and you will be. Also got heated seats, heated steering wheel, vented seats, and all this is controlled through buttons here on my left, which is a funny place to put it, by the way. In the center, I've got a big screen here with loads of information and options, more about that later. I've got a smaller screen here with climate controls, and then I've got a screen behind the steering wheel with sort of my speed and those basic things, and then I've got a heads-up display. So I really got everything in this car. By the way, if I've got people sitting in the back, I can't see out this mirror, I can just flip it and it becomes a camera using the backup camera. In fact, this backup camera is so good, I prefer to use that almost all the time. Maybe not at nights if I can avoid it. I've buttons dispersed sort of weirdly throughout the car. I've got some down here which can change like auto hold, hill descent and parking cameras, etc. Then I've got a fingerprint reader which I can use to get into my specific profile if it's linked to my finger. I've got buttons here for aircon. I've got down here USB-C and USB data points. I have also got a button I can push there, and suddenly this here gives me access to the 12-volt connection. Above the climate controls, I've got some hidden buttons. You might not even be able to see them, but it's written in here and it's not backlit, so it's really hard to see. I've got home, maps, search, media, and setup. Sort of a main menu for what's on the screen here. And then hidden down here, I've got to open the frunk, the trunk, and the charge port. So sort of a scattered way of having buttons throughout, aside from the steering wheel, of course. On the steering wheel, I've got on the right-hand side, audio controls, on the left-hand side, driver assistance, and down at the bottom, I've got a drive mode and terrain mode, so I can change the different drive modes of the car. Of course, I've got these levers here behind the steering wheel, where I can change the region and the braking of that. Got the standard stalks, wipers, lights, and gear selector. Those are actually fine. Here's a funny little ergonomic details. I can't see a big part of the screen. The steering wheel fits nicely on top of the top row of icons here, so I can't tell if my lights are on or if somebody's got their seatbelt unbuckled, and a few other quite important things because the steering wheel is in my way. And I've got the steering wheel at the highest possible and my seat at the lowest possible, so it's not me, it's badly designed. This here bit of the steering wheel also neatly fits on top of this screen. I can't see this screen at all. All I can see is basically this button here in the corner where I can put it up on the main screen and then I guess manage it from there. But it's quite poorly designed, sitting just behind the steering wheel. Maybe they should do what Tesla does and put a yoke in this thing. If it was flat, I'd be able to see the entire screen. It's not silly. It really would be very, very useful. Now the materials on the interior, they're not luxurious, not at all. But they are sturdy and practical. The feeling I get in this interior is that, yeah, this will hold together for a good 20 years and pretty much look the same as when I bought it. Good materials, very, very solid, very sturdy. Not a squeak or rattle or anything like that. And I don't expect it to develop one either. But there's no leather and stitching and that kind of stuff in here. So yeah, practical, but not luxurious. Up here I've got a moonroof. I can even open it up, get some fresh air in, and if it's too sunny and too hot, if you're watching me from the UK, that's probably not relevant, but hey, if it's getting a lot of heat, I can cover it up manually. This here cover there. There's also a sunroof in the back, which I can electronically cover with buttons up here. I'll show you when we sit in the back there. So yeah, nice place to be. Let's talk about this screen and the technology. Because as I mentioned before, this car does everything. It's got every single piece of technology you can possibly imagine, and then some. I've got massage seats, I've got LED lighting, which I can of course customize. And then I've got all these options and icons, and some of them are a bit funny. I can watch sports results and I can do a voice memo. Sure, why not? It's not really something I do a lot while driving, but hey, again, why not? But who the hell designed this? I mean, literally, it's gray on black on lighter gray. The design, the color scheme of this just means that you can't see anything. Right now, it's quite sunny, there's quite a lot of light. I guess all you can see is my dirty fingerprints on this screen. And look at this layout. This is supposed to be a designed layout for buttons, and you know, here's the text. Here's the icon that goes with this text, but it's closer actually to the text there. It just looks like a big old mishmash of things. That's the design of it. Now we go to the layout of it. Now the menu system is, if I'm at the home, there's sort of, I can swipe and I get my main buttons there. And then I can go down one level to settings, for example. Under settings, I can go to vehicle. I'm now 3 levels down. I can go to driver assistance. So in this screen is a perfect example of just a mishmash of weird menus. I get a vertical menu here that's too long to fit on screen, so I have to scroll. I get direct buttons to some of the features over there. And then I have another menu there for additional menu options. And if I go into one of these, say for example, speed limit, I get another menu option here, which I can also scroll. And sometimes you can find another further level down. I'm like 7 levels down in menus. It's absurd. I think the Kia guys need somebody, an expert on UI from Apple or something, to make things a little bit more simple, because this is the most complex menu system I have ever seen. I mean, it does a million things. And of course, when you do a million things, it's an ever increasing challenge to fit it all in, but you should make up a system that's a bit more streamlined and easier to follow than just this. Let's see how much space we've got in the back. Second row seats inside the EV9, I've got loads of space, and I've got this wonderful piece of glass, which just gives me a lot of light inside the car. I've got 3 seats, good enough for 3 adults sitting next to each other, no problem whatsoever. I've got air vents here in the ceiling so I can adjust it. I've even got some buttons up here so I can set my own climate controls as I see fit. I've got here to hold on if Daddy's driving a little bit too quickly, and I can even grab onto this as well. I guess it's for getting in and out of the car with ease. Down here I've got a USB and another one there for my devices. And remember, from the center console, I didn't have a lot of space on top, but in fact, in the back, I can stick my entire arm in there. I could probably hide a golden retriever or 2 in there. Got LED lightings on the side, and these buttons here means I can turn on my seat heaters or ventilated seats, because the 2 seats on the sides are heated and ventilated. Not so with the one in the middle. If I open down this bit here, I've got 2 cup holders and an armrest. I've also got another 2 cup holders there if I want to have 2 drinks at once. Tinted glass on the windows, and if that's not tinted enough, I've got these things here I can put up. There you go. A bit fiddly, but they do work. Again, it's about having a solid, usable, functional car, and it's the same thing with the materials back here. I like it very much. I guess I should check out the 3rd row seats, but in order to do that, I can actually move this here around, so if I have people on the 3rd row, I don't actually need that much space in the front. I can also, of course, change the inclination of this, have a lie down, wake me up later. Yeah, all right. I can do this for these 2 left side seats and the one on the right hand side individually. If it's too hot in here and I want to cover up this glass, the driver's got a button that will make this electronically hide the sun for me. I kind of like the fact that I can move the co-pilot seat around with buttons there so I can get it out of the way if there's nobody in it. If there was somebody sitting there, these buttons are not activated. I'm going to get into the 3rd row and see how well I fit there. Give me a second. So if I want to use the 3rd row, I have to put them up. I've got buttons over here and they will electronically rise to the occasion. How about that? There they go. And even so, I've still got quite a big boot here. I've got 320 liters of space. That's not bad. So if I want to get into the 3rd row seat, I have a button up here to push, and it sort of slides forward and gives me access to it. Then get in the back. And when I'm back here, I actually fit, surprisingly, in the 3rd row. I'm 1.90 m or 6'4". Still got plenty of headroom. Leg room is a little bit tight, to be honest. Not the best in the world, but still, I'm not cramped. I could actually travel back here if I weren't to go too far. I've got air vents up here. I've got USB-C, and I've even got 2 cup holders on each side. Why do I need 2 cup holders here? Whoever travels with 2 drinks and another 2 drinks over there? Why are there 2 cup holders for every seat in this car? Anyway, very practical, very useful for large families or people who travel with loads of friends. So a car that has everything has got to have a frunk too. Well, let's check it out. Down here, you got to push this button twice. And indeed, we have a frunk with a little space for cables, for your dirty socks, and some fish you don't want to have inside. So it does not matter how long this video is going to be. I could make a 4-hour video and I'd still miss a bunch of stuff that this car can do. And that is also true when we talk about the driving modes. So there are 4 basic driving modes. I've got Eco, Normal, Sport, and I can do one which is called My Drive, which is basically setting it up customized. I've got Auto Hold, Hill Climb Hold, and I've also got Terrain Mode here on the steering wheel. Aside from that, I've got these 2 levers behind the steering wheel. What they do is that they change the amount of regenerative braking, which is quite normal on an electric car to be able to change it. However, this car's got at least 8 different levels of regenerative braking. Let me explain. I can turn it completely off, level 0. Then I've got level 1, 2, 3, or 4. Level 4 is what they call the I-pedal. So it comes to a complete stop and I can basically do 1 pedal driving. Fantastic. This is the way I like driving. So that's 4 already. Now, if I then hold down this lever here on the right, it'll go into auto mode. And within auto, I've also got several different levels. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 4 manual and 4 automatic settings. It's just too much. Let me try to explain what the automatics settings mean, because they're automatic, but I can still adjust them. So they're like auto manual. Now, if you don't understand that, then don't worry, because neither do I, to be honest. They dynamically change the amount of regenerative braking applied according to circumstances. Like, for example, if I have a car in front of me, it's going to apply a little bit more. If I'm coming up to a roundabout, it's going to apply a little bit more. If I'm on the open road going straight ahead and nothing, it's going to apply less. But on top of that, I can also adjust it manually. Yeah, I don't know. It seems too much, but hey, if you buy this car and you like to fiddle around with that, good for you. When I'm in sport mode, by the way, I can also go into seats, and I have here no, it's not in the seats, is it? No. Again, let's see. Of course, it's in the settings, vehicle, seats. Silly me, why would it be in seats when it's in settings, vehicle, seats? So I can add smart support. Smart support is available when I'm in sport mode, and smart support will adjust the lumbar support and the seating so that dynamically, according to how I'm driving, it holds on to me and grabs a hold in the corners, stuff like that. Really, Porsche level things in a 7-seater people mover. That is funny. One final thing I want to say about this is that I do like the fact that I can customize it and set it up. I mean, I know it's too much, and I know there's too many menus and sub-menus, but I guess if this was my car and I'd have it every day, I'd figure it out and I'd learn it. So yeah, good on you, Kia, to at least give me the options. Now let's see how this actually drives. Enough with the chit chat. We checked out, I forgot about that. I've added artificial sound because, of course, there are 3 different levels of artificial sound. And this one is called enhanced. Listen to this. Right, it's very noisy, makes a lot of noise on the inside, and it does sound like something, but definitely not like a car. Sounds like I'm driving an electric keyboard from the late 80s. I don't know. I don't know why anybody would have this on. I don't think it enhances the driver experience, and honestly, driving an electric car, part of the benefit is that it's silent in here, it doesn't make any funny noises. I don't know anybody who owns an electric car who actually have these artificial noises on, even though Porsche, Hyundai, Kia, BMW, I don't know, even the new smart car has it. They put it into all these cars, but I don't know, does anybody actually use it? If you drive an electric car, let me know in the comment below. Do you turn these artificial sounds on and leave them on, and do you enjoy it? Or is it just for us testing cars and we turn it off after 10 minutes? That's sort of the feeling I get. It is fun though, but just for a while. This truly is the everything car. Right now, I am receiving a pelvic movement massage. I know it sounds dirty, but it isn't. The seat will move slightly right to left so that it activates my pelvic region and it doesn't put continuous stress on my back, which alleviates back pain. Ooh. Lorry just pulled out in front of me. Here's the thing. Car might have handled it fine. I wasn't about to test that. This car's literally got everything. Look at this. If I wanted to talk with my kids and they're in the 3rd row, I can turn on passenger talk, which will use the microphone I have in here and the speakers in the back to communicate with the people back there. Fantastic. Now, right now, as I was saying, I'm getting a pelvic massage from the seat. I can also get a lumbar massage if I needed to activate my back, and the car will put it on automatically after 30 minutes or so. I can adjust it, of course, the intensity, the duration, the works, everything. This car's got everything. However, it's incredibly hard to find everything on this menu system. Here's an example. By European law, you have to, for a new car, have the speed limit warning on every time you get into the car. So when you get into the car and you start driving and it thinks you have to drive at 20 and you go 30, it's going to start beeping at you, beep, 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 beep. And then when you go 52 in a 50 kilometer zone, it's going to go beep, 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 which is so annoying that most reasonable people will turn it off as soon as they get into the car, if they remember. Typically, you remember once you start going through a slow zone and you go just slightly faster and it goes beep, 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 and you think, Christ, this is so annoying. So how do you turn it off? You have to go into settings, vehicle, driver assistance. Just change lane here. I don't want to be touching the screen while I'm driving. I shouldn't be doing that. And then you have to hit the speed limit button up there, and then you have to change from speed limit warning to speed limit information. And I repeat, you have to do this every single time you get into the car, otherwise it'll beep at you every time you go just 2 kilometers above the speed limit. Furthermore, every time the speed limit changes, so say I'm driving here and suddenly I'm supposed to go 100 instead of 120, it'll also go bing, unless you turn this off. Super annoying. I mean, incredibly annoying. They should put some kind of shortcut or make it easier, or I don't want to dig around in 17 menus in order to do something that really doesn't enhance the security. So yeah, great system, great functionality, a million options that I love and I use and I'm so happy with them. But get your menus organized, Kia. In the electric exam, we also score cars according to their performance. I'm not sure that makes any sense with this kind of car, because obviously this car is not made for performance, but for, practicality and for being just like super luxurious. However, we are going to try it anyway, because according to the specs, this car can do 0 to 100, that's 0 to 62 miles per hour, in just 5.3 seconds. 5.3 seconds to launch 2.6 tons of people carrier to 100 kilometers an hour. That's pretty impressive. So we're going to try it. And we got this device. This is a Draghi, and it's a high precision GPS. You put it on top of the car, it'll send a signal to your mobile phone, and it'll give you a very, very precise 0 to 100 reading. I'm going to do a couple of runs, and let's see how it does. Not sure I mentioned it, but I have 94% battery. Got no retention whatsoever. Draghi has been reset. We're ready to go. Okay, I've done a few trial runs now, and officially 5.3 seconds, and the best time I got was the following. 5:09. All right, this car's even faster than what Kia says. That's pretty good. If it's 5:09, put 5:09. Don't put 5.3. Not that anybody cares how fast it is, I guess, but it is fast. Really fast. So I'm driving using the active driver assistance systems, and in this case that means I have lane keep, I have adaptive cruise control, and I can also change the lane just by using my indicator stalks. I don't need to do the actual lane change, the car will do it for me. Let me demonstrate. So right here I should put myself on the right hand side, and I turn on the stalks, and the car will now do this lane change for me. This driver assistance system is one of the best on the market. I've tried them all. I've tried BMW, Mercedes, Tesla, the lot. And this is up there on par with the best of them. And it's configurable. So I can choose if I wanted to automatically adapt to the speed, if I wanted to go above the speed, if I wanted to just show me the speed or beep at the speed. Got a million settings in here, and that's a general theme with this car. I've got a million things I can adjust. So once it's on, once I get going, it's super solid. It hasn't done any braking, it hasn't turned off where it should be on, it hasn't done anything weird as many of the systems will do. Furthermore, I've got a heads-up display right in front of me where it clearly shows me that it's on, it's in green. I have a green steering wheel and it's quite big and easy to see. Now when I do a lane change, arrows will come up. It communicates well with the driver. Furthermore, once I'm in the lane, I can do small corrections in here. The steering wheel is quite firm, so I can feel that it's locked into the lane. But if there were, say, for example, a pothole or something, I can adjust the car, as you can maybe see now, inside it, and it will either temporarily turn off or just let me veer out of harm's way, and then it'll take control again. Now let me just do another lane change, and there you go. Brilliant system. Love it. Fantastic. Best on the market. So apparently this car can park itself, which is helpful because it's a big car. So let's see how it does it. So once you're in the area where you want to find a parking spot, all you have to do is hold down this button here in the middle, and it's going to search for parking space, and then you just drive it forward slowly while it keeps searching. Oh, there, it beeped. Found a parking spot on our right. It's too easy. Oh, okay. Found one here on the left, between two cars. Let's try that. So I'm gonna click on the screen to select what I'm gonna do smart parking, and then I'm gonna hold down the button and let go of the brakes. And then I'm just gonna let it do its thing. Hopefully not crash into anybody. By the way, it has decided that now would be a good time as well to give me a massage. So the seat is squeezing me lightly. Delightful. Oh, getting close. No, it's fine. Now I can see on the screen what it's doing, and I can see where it's wanting to go as well. But as it is such a big car, it's hard for me to see over the hood, so I don't know how close it actually is to that car in front of us. Sort of just gonna have to trust it. And it seems to be doing it. Okay. It's slow, but not unreasonably slow. I don't think people would be honking at me if I was doing this. And here we are. Job done. Turn off the ignition and leave the vehicle. Let me just check first how well it's actually parked. Yeah, it's done a really good job. Sits smack in between the white lines. Well done. Now the question is, can it also do parallel parking? Let's check it out. The procedure for parallel parking is exactly the same. I hold down the button and let the car look for a spot. I know I can see a spot up there in front of us. Let's see if the car will find it as well. Just slowly creeping forward. I mean, I'm going 10 kilometers now. Maybe it can do it faster. I don't know. Let's see. See if it finds it. Oh, it says stop. Well, it's found it as a non-parallel parking. That's not right. Let's keep going. Oh. I have traffic behind me. I'm just going to let that pass. Okay, I can select that it's going to go for the parking spot. Now, I had to actually get a little bit out of the way to let a car past me. So that's interesting. I'm sort of not in a good position right now for it. So let's see if it can do it anyway. It says moving backwards, and it is indeed moving backwards. It's put on the blinkers as well this time. Oh, it's good because I can actually see where it wants to go park. I can see it drawn on the screen here. Seems to be getting quite close to the car behind me. It's okay. This is a big car for parking. Gosh. Stop, stop, stop. Oh. I was this close to hitting the brakes, but I had to trust it. Okay, it says it's done. Let's go out and check how well it did it. Okay, I can see this far from the curb, which is okay. Yeah, not a bad job. It's parked pretty much as it should be. Maybe it could be a little bit closer to the curb, but I wouldn't complain if I did this.
Let's assign the points for the electric Sam. Remember, we have 8 categories, each with a weight that is added up to give a final score between 0 and 100 points. Range and efficiency. We achieved a total range of 371 kilometers in a day with cool temperatures but sunny and otherwise good weather. The average speed of the test was 111 kilometers per hour, which is a good speed for such a test. The efficiency was 26.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Thus, it scores 6 points for range. We had a point for the cold, but then take it back down due to the low efficiency, leaving it back at 6 points. Charging experience. Since it consumed 26.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and we need to calculate the charging time for an additional 200 kilometers in this test, we had to charge 53 kilowatt hours. This is a significant amount of energy, but due to the enormous charging capacity of the Kia EV9, it only took us 17.5 minutes. It's impressive that it charges at 200 kilowatts, up to almost 60% of the battery. It has one of the most impressive charging curves that we've seen thanks to the 800 volt system. It also features bi-directional charging. It allows external devices to be plugged in. The GPS plans a route with charging points. It provides good information on the screen and many options to adjust the charging. In the charging experience, it earns 8 points. Performance and driving. It's surprising that a car of such size and weight has an official acceleration of 5.3 seconds to 100 kilometers. But even more impressive is that it improves on this performance in a real live test. All-wheel drive, regenerative braking and its multiple settings make it an absolute delight to drive. I find no faults in driving, and despite being a large minivan, it scores 7 points in performance, interior and quality. This is another strong point for the Kia EV9. Its space is very generous, and I can transport up to 7 adults with relative comfort and 5 with a sense of luxury. The materials are good and everything is made with great care. It has a trunk of 823 liters and still has an additional 52 liters of storage compartment in the front. We give it 9 points for interior and quality. Exterior and design. Aesthetically, the car is quite boxy, and it is clear that the type of vehicle limits its design. However, within the available parameters, it seems pleasant to the eye, modern and distinct. In addition, the design line sets some guidelines for future models from Kia. I want to highlight the great wheelbase of 3.10 meters, which provides a very comfortable ride in any situation, and I like the front design of the car. The charging port on the back right is useful for parallel parking on the street, unless you're in the UK of course, where it then sticks out on the road. I give it 7 points in the exterior and design category. Technology. The Kia EV9 includes virtually all the tech systems you can possibly imagine, and some you might not. You can park the car without being inside, it updates via OTA, and its central screen incorporates Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And a continuous internet connection, of course. The seats, of course, includes massage, heating, ventilation, everything really. As a downside, the operating system of the screen is somewhat confusing and the menu system seems quite random at times. I've also had some minor software faults that prevented me from starting the car, but they were fixed by turning off the car and leaving it for a few minutes. I still give it 8 points in technology. Driving assistance. The Level 2 driving assistant includes lane keeping and adaptive cruise control, automatic lane changes and dynamic speed adjustments. As I mentioned in the video, it's among the best on the market and a delight to use. In addition, the car has automated parking system. I give it 8.5 points in the driving assistance category. Price. Remember, I'm located in Spain, so prices might vary wherever you are from. The Kia EV9 GT line is available with 7 or 6 seats, and the price of the tested version is 82,100 euros at the time of testing. Dealership costs may vary. If we look at electric SUVs with 7 seats, 5 meters and more than 300 horsepower that are also good for traveling, we can compare it with, for example, the Tesla Model X long range at a price of 100,000 euros, the new Volvo EX90 Core twin motor for about 91,000 euros, or even the Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV 450 4MATIC priced at about 142,000 euros. The Kia has a better interior space than all three, and it is more economical. The only car of similar size and features with a price below the Kia is the BYD Tang flagship at 69,990 euros. So the Kia earns 7 points in the pricing category. The real question though is if Kia is the kind of brand that can commandeer a price of more than 80,000 euros. Taking into account the weight of each category and multiplying all the numbers together, we arrive at a final score for the Kia EV9 GT line with 7 seats of 75 points out of 100. Therefore, the Kia ranks amongst the highest in the electric SAM, and if you want to compare it with other vehicles I've tested, you can do so on our website, listed in the description below.
So that is the Kia EV9, the everything car. There's so many good reasons to choose this car. The space, the practicality, the traveling, the technology, you name it, it's got it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've been Lars and you've been watching Totally Electric, and if you've reached this far, I'd very much appreciate a subscription to my channel so we can make even more videos about electric cars and sustainable mobility. Thank you very much for watching and catch you again soon. Ciao.